Wait, are you seeing our schedule? Lilith gawked, refusing to accept what she saw. What the fuck is this? Rylan replied in shock, staring. Language and Literature, Wing A, Floor 3, Room 8. Science and Biology, Wing B, Floor 2, Room 12. Who approved of our schedule? Who thought this was a good idea? Our classes are on the opposite ends of the school, Lilith exclaimed, her right eye twitching ever so slightly. Meanwhile, David was silent behind the bewildered duo, a hidden scowl on his face. It was soon replaced by the most predatory grin ever to not be seen, as he whispered, "You paltry scheisse." Ryland and Lilith both turned their heads to David as they heard him mutter. "You good, bro?" the American said with an eyebrow raised. The new German simply shook his head in response. "I bet this is the headmaster's doing. Well, if he wants to play games with us, we'll play. And, one way or another, we're going to dominate in the end," David said stiffly, his hands balled into trembling fists. Lilith just sighed, shaking her head. "Let's not jump to conclusions just yet. I mean, we don't have any real evidence that he did this on purpose. Plus, even if this is him, he can't really do anything to us besides making our lives more annoying, right?" Ryland snorted. "Don't jinx us, please." "Don't worry, guys. I'm sure nothing will happen, as the stories of the story we're in are kind and merciful people," David mumbled, suddenly turning to face nothing. "What was that, David?" Ryland asked, perplexed. David turned back around. "Oh, it was nothing," he said. Ryland and Lilith looked at each other in confusion before deciding to ignore the odd moment. "Well, what are we going to do with that?" Lilith said a few moments later, gesturing towards the pile of broken chair parts. Oh, there! There's a garbage chute," Ryland said, spotting it. Walking over to the waste disposal chute, he pulled his handle to open it. As the three of them began disposing of the chair bits, Ryland paused. "Hey, David, I think you might be able to fit in there. Why don't we test it out?" Ryland yelped as David punched him in the arm. Alright, I was just kidding," Ryland said, rubbing the side of his offended appendage gingerly. "But seriously, it looks like you can fit inside." Ryland barely dodged David's punch, dashing off while laughing, as the smaller boy pursued. Thomas and Javquar entered Mr. Asentarian's class. Most of the other students were already there, and so was Mr. Asentarian himself, preparing his biology lesson. Today's lesson was, unfortunately, one of the more boring ones, but that was fine. Since there was a little time before class started, Thomas decided to start a conversation. "Javquar," he said quietly. "What?" Javquar said, turning to face him. "I think we should have made a group chat with the others, so we can communicate throughout the day and share in..." Thomas stopped talking to turn, as he heard shouting coming from the halls. "I told you Wing A was to the left!" a human voice shouted, reaching a volume and pitch only obtainable by an enraged female. "You confused me when you said that we're on the wrong side of the fucking building!" a pitched Ryland screamed, as he and Lilith sprinted by, seeing through the open classroom door. Before Thomas could question where David was, the German came sliding into view on his belly, having seemingly tripped. "Ryland, pick up David! Carry him for all I care! We're going to be late on our first day!" Lilith screamed. Thomas, Javquar, and the rest of their class gawked as Ryland did just that, picking up a struggling and cursing David, before continuing his run. There was a stunned silence before Javquar broke it. "Okay, well, that just happened. You think they'll be fine?" she asked Thomas. "Oh, they'll be fine," Thomas chuckled with a grin. Lilith and Ryland continued running, getting more and more dishevelled as they did so. Their new uniforms had been ruffled already, and their hair wasn't looking much better. 3 minutes, Lilith wheezed, as the three of them turned a corner. 2 minutes left, she gasped. They spotted their classroom, room 8, at the end of the hall. It was so close and yet so far. Lilith reached it first, unburdened by the weight of another human being, only to see a closed door. "What?" she seethed, eyes seemingly going red as she rattled the door handle to no avail. "You're late," a smug voice said on the opposite side of the class. "I don't tolerate lateness in my class." "We're not! There's 1 minute left!" Lilith spat. This wasn't at all how she wanted her new school year to start. Being late on the first day, wearing messy clothes, being seen screaming and running down the halls. "Actually, according to my implant, he's already reached..." "Out of the way!" Lilith turned just in time to see Rylan careening towards her, David thrashing around in his arms. The new German finally broke out of Rylan's grasp, only to slide at high speed on the smooth floor, and ran right into the door. Lilith and Rylan watched in equal parts horror and awe as the door crumpled from David's impact, snapping off its hinges and landing with a heavy thud. Meanwhile, David face-planted onto the door on the ground, before quickly picking himself up with a little jump, like a spring. After a pause, Lilith and Rylan decided to timidly walk through the desecrated doorway. There, they saw their new classmates flabbergasted at what had just happened. Looking over at their dipshit teacher who had locked them out, they saw the Magister sitting on the ground with ruffled feathers and an open beak, understandably shocked. Is he... Lilith turned to Rylan and David. Is he okay? She asked quietly, and David shrugged. Sorry we're late. It won't happen again. Rylan apologised with a grin, as he walked over to his seat, carefully sitting down so as not to pull at David. Thomas and Javka were talking and eating where they usually sat in the cafeteria, when Rylan, Lilith and David joined them. How was your first day of school? Javka asked. She noticed them look at each other with slight smiles on their faces, whispering something she couldn't hear. Well, I say it went alright. The only issue was when our jackass teacher locked us out of the class for supposedly being late, and David broke down the door, Rylan said. What? How did that happen? Thomas asked, his eyebrow raised, and Lilith only grunted in response. It's because we got lost in the hallways, because someone gave us bad directions. She looked at Rylan, who scoffed. Okay, you're the one who... Rylan took a deep breath before letting it out slowly. I said I was sorry, he said, arms crossed, and Lilith opened her mouth to speak before closing it. Yeah, you're right. Let's just never have to use David as a battering ram again. Everyone laughed at her words, the tension at the table gone. David himself gave a little thumbs up, muffled laughter coming from beneath his mask. Thomas turned to Javka, watching her laugh with the others. You could tell that, just like him, she felt at ease around their new friends. For just a moment, Thomas wondered if they'd have become friends without the headmaster's antics uniting them. What am I thinking? Of course he would. He smiled. Don't worry, guys. I'm sure nothing will happen, as the authors of the story were in the kind of a merciful people. David mumbled. What the fuck? Wait, what the shit? What? Oh, fucking hell. No, you can't bullshit like that. No. Stop it.